and that we all united. This is Mount Vernon, and we all have a stake in our community. So we thank you. I'm going to now ask Bishop C. Nathan Edwards if he would just also shape the narrative before we introduce the president of the PBA.
First of all, we are delighted and thrilled that we can really say that community policing is at work. It is the collaboration of both the police department, the administration, the clergy, and the stakeholders to make our community a safe place and a safe city. And that is the thrust of United Black Clergy, is to collaborate with all the parties. We want to thank our law enforcement agencies. We want to thank them because they put themselves out there day and night to protect our community. Perhaps everything may not be right, but we want to thank them for being there for us. Then also we want to say to them that the United Black Clergy is not in the business of micromanaging. The Black Clergy is in the business of speaking truth to power. And therefore we want to always be a prophetic voice in the midst of this dark community. So I want to thank the police department of Mount Vernon. I want to thank the administration. I want to thank the clergy and all the stakeholders who comes to the table to make our city a safe city, a safe street city. And anything that we can do as clergy to sit, to talk, bring you to our churches, to really do this community policing as it should be, where police officers should know us and we know them and know the people in our community, we will make ourselves available. Thank you so kindly for just us being here today to lend our support to the police department here in Mount Vernon.
Right. So at this time, we're going to ask the president of the PBA if he would come and speak to us. As we have had our meeting, we have sat down and discussed issues, but please.
Thank you guys. Thank you all for joining us, and a real big thank you.
Madam Mayor, come and stand with us, please. And our mayor's with us. We give respect to our mayor. Yeah, please stand with us. Thank you.
A big thank you to the United Black Clergy for sitting down with us, talking with us, and understanding all the problems with the police department, and making the community aware of a lot of those problems. I look forward to really getting the police department to work a lot more closely with the churches, coming into the churches and getting involved in the community, learning what we could do for them, and helping them understand what we're going through, and to earn and gain their support. So I thank you all for being here, and I look forward to the conversations that we're going to have.
And also, let me say this, because we had this conversation, and a couple of things have emerged out of the conversation. First of all, the police officers, they were doing their job, giving out tickets on Sunday, which we were opposed to, but however, they apologized for not having the level of sensitivity. And then also, we had to bring this issue up, that the police officers, we don't mind anybody protesting, but when you go into the hollow corners of our wonderful rotunda, that is not acceptable, and we cannot condone that. And therefore, they also apologize to that, because our community need to know that we're always trying to bring about a resolve, because we need to work together. We cannot we cannot holler at each other. We must be adults sitting at the table, working together to hammer out all of these issues, because we want a safe streets, safe city. Safe streets, safe city. Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to allude to that conversation.
Within the PBA,
Yep, you.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, thank you. All right.
So we have Madam our Mayor standing with us. We were in discussions. Bishop Edwards furthered the conversation with our Mayor around this. So we thank God our Mayor is here, and we give opportunity to share with the unity of how we all, listen, we all got to work together. All this divide and all this, it doesn't work for any of us. One city, one community. And indeed, we need to start having these conversations, and this is good. Listen, this is a good start to have these conversations and to join shoulder to shoulder in that fight, as Bishop said, in that argument. But for us to actually start to really work together and say, how do we do this here in our community? So, Madam Mayor, we thank you for joining with us. We also have our other clergy leaders. We have Pastor Bishop Rondell Fuller. We have our Apostle Rose. And so Bishop Lynn Middleton.
Where's she at?
She's here as well.
Will she come forward with a couple of? No, I'm gonna sit. I didn't want to be shown.
Yeah, Lynn. She's one of our women bishops.
Yeah.
So we thank God for her. But Madam Mayor, please talk to us.
So we came here because, first of all, we know that this administration has inherited decades of lack of investment in capital, in contracts, and that's not just for the police. It's been for fire, it's been for CSCA, it's been for Teamsters. There's been a challenge. These are things that we inherited. And the first 2 years of our administration has been hell. And then we've dealt with COVID and a road controller, and the state has proven that report. My concern is we wanted to be very clear that at no time have we ever worked, to defund the police. Actually, 35% of the salaries here in the city of Mount Vernon go to the police. 8% of the $41 million of ARPA funds that we have been promised by the federal government are dedicated to the police department. What does that look like? It looks like 20 police cars. It looks like an emergency service command vehicle, which the city hasn't had probably actively rolling on the street in many years. That's $600,000. It's another emergency services unit truck. It is body cameras, at least another 35 body cameras, because we want to make sure that the community is safe and that our police are safe. And we know that body cameras are a part of that. It is license plate readers so that we can make sure as people are committing crimes and going to and fro that we can capture that information. It is enhanced surveillance that we're working with the Westchester County Police Department and the City of Mount Vernon is using ARPA funds to invest in that to ensure that we're expanding our real-time crime opportunities. It also deals with making investments in the physical portions of our building, in the physical portions of all of our buildings. We've seen in the last 2 years that we have closed down the armory. We condemned it. We closed down a fire station. We condemned it. There's scaffolding on the side of City Hall because the roof has been leaking and places have been collapsing. The Dole Center has been closed and not fully functioning and operating for the past 2 years, not just because of COVID, but because of lack. And so we know there's mold in every single one of our buildings. We know that the police firing range has been out of service for several years, and that is part of the ARPA budget. Also part of the ARPA budget is to bring more surveillance into the police department because that protects the police as they're doing arrests, closing the gate in the back and replacing the gate in the back. So whether it's been 20 new police cars, an emergency mobile command center, an ESU truck, fixing some of the things that are not new, but are 15 to 20 years old in all of the municipal buildings throughout the city. So the police department has not been singled out for neglect. It's been an issue of deferred maintenance throughout the city of Mount Vernon that has caused our staff to have to work without proper resources and has caused this city, this municipality as a whole, every single department, even including the administration, to be the lowest paid in the county. We are the smallest physical city in the county, but we have a very dense population and we are very residential without as much opportunity for retail expansion. And so we are looking for creative ways to bring more revenue into the city. We have, for the first time, I think in 10 years, or at least put in the budget, money for salary increases. Is it enough? No. Is it a start? Yes. Do we need more? Absolutely. Do we want to make sure that we close the door on rotating because on people leaving, the revolving door in and out of the police department and other departments because we don't have equity in pay? Absolutely. Those are things that we're working towards. But most importantly, we want to make sure that we have a safe community and that our officers are safe, and that is what we are working towards. And there are continuous conversations, and we will continue to have conversations. And so we thank everyone for coming together today.
Are there any questions? We have any questions in the press? Have any questions they want to ask us today? It's a good thing that the man rolled out some of the accomplishment, and yet we do have some challenges. I don't want nobody to leave here to think that we just rubber stamping on things. There are ongoing conversations. There's ongoing conversations with the commissioner. We thank the commissioner for being here. He's the one that administrates along with our mayor. There's ongoing conversations that the clergy would love to be involved with the police officers, that we can resolve any conflict, because the whole idea is safe streets, safe city. Safe streets, safe city. That's our whole objective. Yeah.
And we want to give a shout out to our police department. We want to give a shout out to our police department. Commissioner, would you like to share what happened over the weekend?
Thank you. First of all, I have to thank the Black Clergy for their forgiveness, their godly spirit, in forgiving the PBA for targeting the black churches. This could have been a horrible, horrible issue.
Out. Everybody out.
And
Everybody
the
out.
unity they bring was good. Now, talking about safe streets, safe spirits, I want to announce that a Mount Vernon man was arrested on Sunday, March 6th, in connection with the March 4th, 22 murder. So a man was killed this Friday and was arrested this Sunday, and this murderer was arrested this Sunday. Haywood Bradshaw III was arrested early Sunday evening on Palmer Avenue in the Bronx. Bradshaw was being sought by the Mount Vernon Police Department for the shooting murder of 41-year-old Kwasi Curtin, also from Mount Vernon. Bradshaw and Curtin had been involved in an altercation late on Friday night that turned deadly. During the altercation, Bradshaw produced a semi-automatic handgun and fired numerous shots at Curtin, striking him numerous times. Curtin was transported to Montefiore Mount Vernon Hospital, but succumbed to his wounds there. Following the shooting, Bradshaw fled the area. Mount Vernon police detectives, working in conjunction with the FBI Westchester Safe Streets Task Force, spent the weekend searching for Bradshaw and were able to track him to a home on Palmer Avenue in the Bronx. As detectives and special agents were watching the home, Bradshaw exited with 2 other males, and it was at this time he was taken into custody without incident. Bradshaw has a criminal history that dates back to 2006 and includes arrests for weapon possession, burglary, criminal contempt. Bradshaw was lodged in the City of Mount Vernon Police Jail and is scheduled to be arraigned in Mount Vernon City Court today. If found guilty, Bradshaw could face a sentence of 25 years to life. So, safe streets, we're all for it.
But also, let me say, we have to bring this to close because this needs to be clarified. The police department was only doing what they were supposed to do, and that is to maintain law and order. And when there were people parked in illegal places, we understand that we never asked the police department to give the churches any kind of farewell. If you illegally park, you should be ticketed. However, we felt that we should have been given due notice. So let's move forward and work together. Thank you for being with us today. We appreciate you. God bless you. Thank you.
That wasn't good, and I'm upset with this.
Let's come to my office.
No, I'm not going. I got somewhere else to go. That was never the intent. Never the intent. We were here to bring unity and in our community.